Have you ever wondered who the first Indian to study abroad was? Gandhi? We all know that Gandhi studied law in London. Ramanujan went to Trinity College. Ambedkar went to Columbia. Ratan Tata studied architecture at Cornell. But who was the first one? In 1845, a 19-year-old from a small village in Bengal boarded a ship to England. His name was Surjo Kumar Chakraborty, and he was about to become the first Indian to formally qualify in Western medicine on British soil. Orphaned at 6, he learned Bengali, Persian, and Sanskrit from a village school. At the age of 13, he heard English for the first time, and something about it pulled at him. After that, he would walk 60 miles every day to the nearest town where he could get English education in exchange for cooking. Eventually, he made it into the Medical College of Bengal. There, a professor named Henry Goodeve noticed him. Goodeve had spent years convincing a hesitant institution that Hindu students could be trained in Western anatomy. A little controversial, because Hindus were forbidden from touching corpses and medicine meant dissecting cadavers. Surjo became his star pupil. When funding opened up to send a few students to England, Surjo, the youngest of the four, was on that ship. In London, he did not just keep up. He topped his class in his first exam, won a gold medal in competitive anatomy, and graduated in 1849, ranked only second in his entire class. He even taught a lecture hall full of 500 students on his mentor's behalf. He came home in 1850 expecting the doors to open. They didn't. Despite his qualifications, despite British colleagues celebrating his work, Surjo was blocked from a senior post in the Indian Medical Service, simply because Indians weren't permitted to hold that rank. He outperformed the system on his own terms, and the system still said no. It wasn't just one side shutting him out either. Back home, the same things that made him remarkable abroad made him suspicious. He had touched cadavers. He had lived among the British. He had nominally converted to Christianity, even folding his mentor's name into his own. To parts of his own community, that made him an outsider in a place he was supposed to belong. Overqualified abroad, unwelcomed at home, a strange, specific limbo. And if you know any Indian student who's gone overseas, you've probably heard some version of that exact feeling. Today, over 13 lakh Indian students are abroad, chasing the same things Surjo was. Better training, wider opportunity, global recognition. And quietly, a lot of the same friction follows them. Cost of living eats into savings faster than expected. Job markets stay tight for international graduates. Visa policy shifts without warning. The exclusion is now less institutional, more quiet isolation. Away from family and friends, building a life in a strange land amongst people who feel not your own. And yet, the pattern holds. Indian students and professionals abroad don't just survive that friction, they consistently end up at the top of research output, in tech, building the companies themselves. Surjo was just as stubborn. In 4 years, he worked a post below his training. Then in 1854, the British opened the medical service to everyone, regardless of their background. And Surjo sailed back to London, sat it again, and in January 1855, became the first Indian to ever pass it. Second out of 28 candidates. He didn't wait for the system to make room for him. He outqualified it until it had no excuse left to refuse him. Now, 2 centuries later, that's still, more or less, the playbook.